We're live.
We are live.
All right, great. It is 3:05, and now that we've had all our, oh, wait a minute, it's only 3:02. And now that we've had all of our technical difficulties addressed, we are live. We are meeting in person. We also are on both Zoom and YouTube today. In the future, for future meetings, we will go back to being on YouTube so that folks can, and it will be recorded so folks can look at it afterwards. So our first thing up is privilege of the floor. And yes, John, do you have a privilege of the floor?
Thank you, sure.
John
I do.
Racine.
John Racine, Tri-Pyramid Condos. What I'm here for is I'm asking the board if we could ask for a section code for the dumpster pad at Tri-Pyramid. We're trying to be optimistic with the trash, the way it's working, and the way we want it to work in the future. The pad on that is quite a bit of money, and we're asking if we could put in a hot pack in there instead of concrete, and that's what we're asking.
Mark?
Our standard is concrete or pavement,
Pardon, concrete or pavement?
so that with dirt, with a dirt pad or dirt area for the dumpster to sit on, it's more likely to be frozen to that spot. And so we do not recommend that you have just a dirt or gravel or crushed stone.
One was for, I think, 8,000, and one was for 10,000.
Like dumpster pad?
Yeah.
If the cost of steel and the cost of construction, I can
This
see
is just concrete, or there's, what do you mean? Not seriously, is it steel and concrete? Or just
it is
concrete?
steel. If the standard is steel reinforced concrete or
Okay,
3
rebar.
inches of
I
pavement.
believe, yeah. And then they gotta dig down below that to put in hard pack.
Right.
But it's just a huge burden on that.
And the one you have that doesn't work well.
It's a little bit lower, so when they back up into it, it quite doesn't catch the back of the trash truck.
You can't, when the truck backs up, there are 2 teeth that stick out that click into the truck to secure it so that we can tip it. And the way theirs has lowered down over the years. And when the truck backs in, they can't catch those teeth.
And it's because it's on a dirt, it's on dirt, not hard pack, which is a really heavy stone type stuff that Jim has. But you would see if we can talk more about it.
Is the pad still in good condition?
There's no pad
There's
there.
no pad there. And that's,
Oh,
It's
there's,
just dirt, right?
it's
There's
just
no
dirt.
concrete.
There's no concrete.
so at the time it was
They never
approved,
put one in.
it
Oh, it
wasn't
never had one.
required.
A lot of these dumpsters don't
Oh,
have.
so it never
concrete.
had.
Well, the standard has been since 2005 to have concrete or pavement. They don't have to do.
For this reason.
For this reason.
One of the reasons. Right?
So instead of concrete, it would be acceptable. And other dumpster enclosures have it where it is just paved. So it's a compacted area and you just put in enough pavement so to bring it back up to grade. That would be acceptable. Pavement. It says macadam or pavement or the concrete pad. But the pavement has to be a minimum of 3 inches.
Right.
That's the standard.
Right. Yeah, and then they gotta prep the ground.
They will have to prep it, but it should be less than the 8,000 to
Concrete.
10,000.
You might be able to piggyback on what asphalt.
Right,
Yeah,
Neighbor who's coming to town.
Yeah,
and we have,
my whole driveway was $8,000, so,
isn't it crazy?
yeah, I don't think it's gonna cost that much for,
just,
for,
Well, how
just the
about
pad.
if I ask the board this, if I find that information out, find out the cost, and come back to you and let you know, so anybody else approaches you on this, we have a number for both concrete and pavement.
Greg, you had something to add?
notice that dumpster that's lower, where the truck is pushing down on the asphalt. The truck part where the tires sit, is probably pushing.
There's no
down.
asphalt there.
it's-
No asphalt
The
there.
Right,
problem-
but so the fixed problem, they back up and hit your pins there, is where the truck sits, not where the dumpster
Well,
sits.
In their case,
Because you'll have. you'll
the
just-
pad area is lower. The truck is above
Right, but you
the
could put
two pins.
process in there to raise up. The dumpster's not that heavy. The truck is 30,000 pounds, and then you put the lift on it to pull that dumpster up, you add another 10,000. That's where you have the issue. It's where the truck sits, not where the dumpster sits.
In most,
Trucks constantly gonna be sinking down.
Well, except that
in
in
this
this
case,
particular
we're
instance,
above,
it's sitting,
no.
it's basically sitting on dirt.
Right. just
It's
that
not
dirt.
sitting on concrete, it's not sitting on pavement.
But
Yeah.
if you, it doesn't require a lot of weight. That pad for the dumpster. is.
It doesn't have a pad.
No, but if you built a pad, it's not necessary to build, 8 inches and reinforce.
Let's get some estimates and see what they say,
Yeah.
let's see what other places have done, and see if it fits its customer needs and last.
All right, let me do that. I'll report back to you.
Yeah.
Next meeting.
Didn't the other condo down at the end do theirs recently? The one we were having trouble with, didn't they rebuild recently? High Country.
They did.
they did. And
Did
did,
they
I
have a
believe,
pad originally?
They did.
Okay, they did have a pad, but they rebuilt, they put in some
That's
macadam or something like that,
That's
right? And turned up.
Mhm. They flattened out basically, like Craig was saying, so that it was a straight shot into the dumpster where we were on an incline.
Okay.
All they did was paint out in front of it. They didn't have to replace it.
Okay.
Well, they spent a lot of money on that. I think they.
Well, but they were doing a paving, overall paving project in that area. Anyhow. So it was cheaper than fixing the pad, because they had the same decision.
Yeah, I think they built a new corral.
They did.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, agreeable.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll be glad to pass that along to other people who are having this issue.
Okay.
All of our stuff is getting older, isn't
Yes, it is.
it?
Including
Not only the stuff.
Yeah. And us right along with it. Okay, Craig, you are here. Welcome. Just so that you don't have to wait through our whole meeting, we'll pick up whatever issues you were here to talk to us about.
What were we talking about, parking?
Parking. Okay.
I thought we had come to agreement on this.
We did come to an agreement on it, and I think Mark was going to talk to Craig
Have I spoken to you about?
Not spoken.
Is he written to you?
Well,
My
essentially,
understanding is still temporary, right?
it is still temporary, but we are asking that you take some steps to pave the area that on the original plan for that site was supposed to have something like 24 parking spaces.
Excuse me, Margaret.
Yeah.
I don't think the word paving came into our conversation. I thought it was
You mean on the road?
Creating the parking
Create the
spaces.
24
Yeah.
spaces.
No, we're talking about the area that you're using as a maintenance yard now.
What about?
It was originally part of supposed to be the parking for the golf club.
Right, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Right.
All the employees park down there. One time we occasionally have some conversation. All the employees.
I think the decision of the board was to,
I did put in, ledger rock last year. Cleaning up a little bit.
yeah, I know you got some trees you're putting in.
Well, those are 4 of them are mine that I'm gonna put along the road. And the rest are Jane Hilliard's.
Okay. I thought we had agreed to continue the temporary
Right.
status,
I
but
think-
not to increase the length.
Yes, this is what I think. I'll give you my recollection. And then
Yeah,
this is
sorry.
my recollection.
You have it, I haven't seen the draft. plan.
But my recollection was that we noted in the minutes from last year when we first came in, that we would put this before the town as a warrant article to discuss in the winter. And that was not done. Because that was not done, what we will do without reservation is extend the term through this year without any changes, meaning no extension of space and no additional requirements for the year. But we basically talked about, you brought up the initial requirement for them to be, I don't know if there's a specific number or not, of spaces to be available for parking over a 5-year shutdown.
Yeah, we could do that, because, we're actually, you can go by there on Friday night, there's all the employees in there. So 6 or 7 cars. So there's not any employees parking on the clubhouse.
But the approval from the planning board at the time that the maintenance building was put in
Right.
is that there would be, I think, 21 or 24 spaces.
I bet you could, we could.
Well, and that's,
And
As
that's
long
why
as
we don't
that's
need on-street
available.
parking,
Why?
because you have 24 spaces over there.
We need 48. We need more than that. There are 2 hours of.
Which brings us back to the town.
Huh?
Which brings us back to on-street parking and putting it before the town.
A couple hours a week. It's usually a couple hours every week. Unfortunately, some people, they can't, there's even a household. of 10 times. So what do we do there? It's just that it's usually a couple hours every week that we have. We have way more. Without that.
So how many spaces do you have? Like
We have
right
26
next-
spaces at the clubhouse right now.
Right.
They're not marked at the golf, at the maintenance garage, but I'm assuming that there's 20 cars in there easy.
And we got 8 or 9 along the road, max, I think, current
Yeah,
plan.
you get up a little higher than that, but it's usually a couple hours, like a Saturday. Or a certain Friday night. It's not a 7-day.
Well, thank you.
Very, very similar to Walmart. They have a huge parking lot that's based on the square footage of their building. And the parking lots are huge because that's what parking requirements are. My predicament is I don't want to build a Walmart parking lot just for 2 hours a week. That's kind of it. The parking requirements are very uniform compared to every other town. I'm not saying they're not there. It's just, we're just busier than that.
And I don't know that I've ever seen 24 cars over in that parking lot. But be that as it may. Right.
I can't get them to park down there. Doesn't mean they can't put them down there. I can't get people to park down. You don't park. Some
No, I
people-
park in the regular
Right.
parking.
Well, I think from now on, we'll send people down there, but, we can't get them parked. So we send all the employees down there, and all the employees park there. All the cars that you'll see down there are 100% employees. Occasionally, you will get a few people that park there. On the wedding rehearsals, we're getting probably 70% of them to walk over. And that's pretty good. So, I mean, we're trying to handle the parking as best we can. It's always those certain events that require more parking. And that's why we would like to have the on-street parking. I would like to keep parking on it, but the tennis thing should be included in this. And I don't know why you guys don't include it in a permit. I don't want to be the bad guy.
I find what you're saying for the tennis thing. On,
Snows Mountain Road, the tennis club is parking on the road. Just like what you're saying to me, that I need a temporary permit for. They don't seem to have one. I would like to have one. I would like to give them an easement for the whole thing. But I don't know why everybody just doesn't do anything about it, or why it's so much specialer at the clubhouse and not the tennis club.
Is that on-street parking?
It's, what do you call it, street parking? Street, private
yes.
property.
Yeah, I mean, that traditionally and historically, that's always been just where they park. So we've never really considered it on-street parking.
But meets the definition of on-street. There's a street and there's parking. They back up onto the road, at least what I'm saying, we're not saying to the people back up onto the road. So I think ours is way safer. My only point is, the on-street parking that's at the tennis club is not, should be part of the same discussion.
Well, one of the conclusions we came to, and thank you for reminding me at our last meeting, was that we needed to have a conversation with the town on the subject of on-street parking. And we neglected to do that in this year's town meeting. We're gonna get it on the warrant for next year.
Right.
We're gonna take a look at what we have right now and what we're gonna propose and have public discussion about it and see which direction we wanna go. Because, you know, we should be fair to everyone and.
Well, they're uniform, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, but they're not, that's on-street parking.
Yeah, I think that's obviously what had occurred there is something that historically has been done. It's never been an issue.
If the Seminole Indians come back here, we can't give them
Well,
property back.
They were never here, so.
Yeah, but this could.
Even if
the
they
tennis
come, they
parking
can't
could-
have it back.
The tennis parking could, if it's not on the town road, which I don't know if it is or not, but where the
The road
lines
is
are.
unbounded. It's not, that's why you have the engineer's plans in there, because the road is not bounded.
Well, we could certainly look at that. I think what's forcing the issue, Craig, is the fact that you've expanded business.
But what we did was make it businesses.
Yeah.
I can go the other way.
No, well, no one wants you to go the other route, but, I hear, you have expanded restaurant hours, you're doing wedding receptions. I don't think those things were just done before in the golf clubhouse. So, I mean, you've highlighted a problem just by your activity. And I don't think anyone's trying to limit your activity whatsoever. I think we're trying to find a way to resolve it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And we want direction from the town when it comes to on-street parking.
If we didn't have the existing ordinance prohibiting on-street parking, between public safety and the Board of Selectmen, they could choose areas to park in town. Okay, on the street. And then we wouldn't have a problem.
That's correct.
The issue is we've got to go back to town meeting.
And revise
and either
that.
Revise
that
it or
ordinance.
rescind
Right,
it
it's explicitly
and
prohibited.
give the police chief
Right.
and the Board of Selectmen that authority to do on-street parking wherever they deem that it's safe.
And one could even question whether we have the authority to grant temporary on-street parking based on that.
Based on the
that
ordinance, I think we're probably
So-
stretching
Yeah,
the issue a little bit.
And I think it's looking at it as a town-wide issue, and not just these two particular spots. too. It's looking at the whole town.
And I think it's appropriate to send a letter to the tennis club. We'll let Tom know that the area off of Snows Mountain Road is going to be included in the discussion.
I mean, it's an attempt for us to be fair by allowing, I think, for you. in
I
your
would like to
expanded
legalize the
operations.
tennis parking, to be honest with you. I've said that to Tom. I said, why don't we just legalize this thing?
Well, that's what we're trying to do, but we need the town to make a judgment on that. But in the interim, trying to be fair, I think this is why we're allowing, one could say we're stretching the ordinance. What is it, up to 8 or 9 cars, what is it, 200 feet or that we've prepared?
The area
In that
is
area,
about 200 feet.
Up to 50.
200 feet, and I thought when we last discussed it, in terms of increasing the length of that stretch, there was concern by public safety that it may be getting too close to the intersection, sight distance with Boulder Path. Is that correct?
To
Not-
Village.
To Village, I'm sorry, to Village. So.
No, I
we're
do
just-
appreciate the on-street parking. I mean, because as we all, or you should, the business here is not exactly 7 days a week. That could really make the money. And that means you have to really crank it at certain days. And other days, there was absolutely nothing. And that's really the problem here. If you want successful businesses, you need to operate like that. And I think that any municipality in the United States has some form of municipal parking. We every time you go, there is some form of municipal parking. And
Suppose we could meter it.
I think we're at a point where we blew it last year. It was like, we didn't get it as a warrant article of discussion that we should have had last year. So my thing is, let's just go with it as it is, work on things so we have well-discussed, well-devised plans and well-thought-out presentations to the town people. So they understand what we're talking about and the vendors understand as well what we're talking about. So the input from the vendors before we go to the town, because we don't want to go with something that doesn't make sense and doesn't cover what we all need. And then pass that and realize,
Right, we
well,
should have done
we
this.
should have
And
done
then I gotta wait a whole nother year before we can change it again.
I mean, and there have been others that have had difficulties with on-street parking, and I'm thinking specifically of the Coyote, who a few years back
We have
built
We
a whole new
towed-
parking
We
lot.
towed cars.
Yeah,
Because
built a whole new
well,
parking lot.
the good part is you can't get a lift up there for now.
You got a chance.
Now that that's on the record.
But there's other things, you know, I mean, we as a town own that skating rink. We should be talking about parking. We're parking for that skating rink.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, this discussion on parking has to not just encompass
Right.
your little area,
Yeah.
encompass everyone. Because if someone just actually takes off and things, well, especially, once again, if they get successful over at the athletic club and have a big going concern at the pool in the summer, you know, that could turn into another sizable, on those 3 days a week.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's, get into these 90-day deals, they're doing very well over there. And we're not doing very well at all. I mean, on a hot day, we don't do that well. So we're all in the pool. A lot of people shift into that.
So much for a pedestrian
I-
study. Pedestrianization, I think is what.
Sprinklers.
Yeah.
I think
sprinklers.
we know what we need to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we do, you know, encompass repaving some of these roads eventually. And make it kind of a nice parking spot too. Believe it or not, there are a few people that will park there and actually just walk around. And it blows my mind when they do it, but they do it. It's not a lot, but there are some people that park there. You know, and along that line, I'm thinking, probably gonna move the gazebo that we have over on 6th, over on the path, so more people can use the gazebo. You know, where we have it right where it is right now, it's not a good spot for all of us. You know, the pedestrians can't use it, you know, it's in our way.
Great place to put a golf ball first.
Yeah, so, but I'm thinking of moving that gazebo over to the road, and at the same time, it needs a little work, so while we're moving, clean it all up. And that would be open to pedestrians. I wasn't here last night, but we are doing a fireworks party. It's gonna be, who knows how big it is, but we are gonna RSVP it. Probably through these, some of these things.
Well, I think that's good, fireworks, nice.
I just want to make sure that I do it.
We did talk about the sign, to move the sign to the
Other side.
maintenance shed
Right.
side of.
Yeah, the only reason is because Tina takes care of the sign, the flowers, and you can't get water across the street, but I can give her a hose on the other side, and maybe more substantial flowers, that she could have a nice flower thing. And I can run a hose and leave a hose out there. You know, that's literally the only reason.
The only issue will be to make sure that the stop sign is screened. And I've got to get Jim to talk to.
We'd like, we can do that.
Public safety guys, any comments on that?
Yeah, I just like this.
So you're just gonna remove completely that flower bed with the sign on the right side as you're looking.
Yeah, because there's no availability of water. And it's strictly the only reason.
I know somebody with a water buffalo.
A lot less expensive.
When are you gonna start giving boat rides?
go on a cruise, on a dinner cruise.
Alrighty,
Is there any other?
I can't think of anything else. Just going back. to
So we're good?
email.
Yeah, we're always good.
Okay,
Thank you very much. I do appreciate, the hard, and yes, we are locking it. But
Please continue.
the alternative is not. All right, thank you, guys.
okay. Alrighty. We don't have any financial reports today, right?
No, she's
As
working on
opposed to
those.
things are basically
She's-
as they have been.
Yeah, there's nothing that came in, it's just the fact that we didn't get them entered, so if I had produced a report, it would be basically the same.
Okay. So look
We'll get you
forward
one by
to the
the time.
email.
What happens if you get hit by a bus? We're in trouble.
Yeah, for a couple of days. I'll let you
Oh, She would be so disappointed to hear this.
Only a couple of days.
know. Okay, more than a couple of days, but she is listening. More than a couple of days.
Minutes, review and approval. We all had a chance to look at the minutes of April 14th, April 28th, and April 26th. And we made our amendments, and can I have a motion to approve the minutes from those 3 meetings?
I will make that motion as amended.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Department heads. Brooke, why don't we start with you today?
Sure. I bet Dave will elaborate, but the fishing derby was awesome, and even though it was a little chilly, it's a great turnout.
With snow.
And we were very
Smell
grateful
it.
to Margaret, you and Mark for showing up and actually getting to work.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Bubbles out.
The rec department is fully staffed for this summer with the exception of a seasonal maintenance position, which we do have a couple of emails out as a response to people who have applied. So we're hoping to get someone still in place for that 30-hour-a-week position to help keep the Packard Field load and the garbage picked up and the beach raked and stuff like that. So
What if you don't find someone?
we'll have to just work with the Public Works Department and also with our staff to get that done, which, we sort of hinged it together last year. We didn't hire that position last year.
Oh, okay, so this is nothing new.
No,
Right. I mean, it really makes a big difference. I don't know if you guys remember when we had that position filled and what a huge difference it made. But it certainly makes a difference on our end because we have to pull people from other places.
Speaking about that, you know, I have this mania about those whiskey barrels on the beach, which was nice with the flowers. I like them, but there's still a small planter that anyone can pick up that's empty. That'll turn into a garbage
Yes, I
Yeah.
saw that. and
behind or
yeah,
next to the.
I will also, when I'm out to plant those too.
Yeah.
I saw, oh yeah, I forgot about that little one, so we'll get out.
Okay,
there
I was gonna say
and plant
either put flowers in it. That may not stop
Or
people. It didn't stop.
It
people.
did, that year, when I planted those, that was last summer, I think it did.
I
stop
think
people
last
from
summer,
playing
that was the year
garbage.
before that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
thank you, I'll get to that.
Thank you.
Right now, we're in the process of collecting the spin bikes that we rented out over the winter to various people, and so we've got, I think, half of them collected. Because we do plan to have spin class this summer. The playground, if you've noticed, has been totally removed. The public works did such a great job and worked really hard in hot conditions to remove that. And half of it has been transported to the person who needs to be taking it away to use it. And the other half is still up here. It's out for the person to get the trailer again, I believe, Friday. The new playground will be installed, or the delivery is set for mid-July, so there will be a brief period of time here where it will just be a giant sandbox.
Get a
Did you go with color?
we have a 5-year-old who's tracking. things.
Reported it stalled, reported it
Oh.
stalled
Really?
to one of our officers.
I'm not 5 years old.
Brooke, did you go with color?
I did, and we had to make an executive decision because I guess it's so popular this time of year, right after Memorial Day, the race is on for all the playgrounds being ordered, and it was getting backordered so late, I just kind of made the decision. And it's like a blue and green. It looks really good. No, it's a lime green and like a bright blue, and then there's a little bit of purple.
And
Scarce colors.
Yeah.
Well, but it's the same colors as
It's
the bug.
kind of like the bug. It's
Same colors
kind of
as
like the bug colors. That's what we were going with. So it will be a big change from our, brown and green playground, but
It'll look like something for kids.
yeah, this will be really attractive.
Right.
Is it the same company that put the playground in down at Campton Elementary?
I don't think they did Hampton, but they did the new Holderness playground and Plymouth. They're a very well-respected company that do a great job. They did put this one in that we have, and I think that went in early 2000s.
Don't ask, we
But
don't know.
one of the
anymore.
pieces,
Brand new.
It's brand new, it was just last
one of
year.
the pieces that came out, because
15
it's of
years
course
ago.
pressure treated wood, and they were, digging up these huge pieces with concrete blocks underneath. And they tried to dig up one, and the wood just broke right in half with carpenter ants all over it. So it was rotted, and it was good that we got rid of that.
Yes.
Staff orientation is June 21st through the 25th, and so we are getting prepared for that. We feel like we have a great staff in place. We are looking for dunk tank volunteers for June 3rd. I have volunteered, and then Gail
June 3rd, I'll do it.
Gail has voluntered.
Yeah. Third.
So it's our July 3rd, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's our,
I'm busy.
is our family carnival, which we are doing on Packard Field this year. And Touch a Truck is gonna be there with our public safety. We're gonna have lots of field games, inflatables. We're hoping to have a big party that day. So make sure you come by, 11 to 3. Porta potties in our tent in Packard arrive late next week. So we'll have that going again. I think we're going to plan on having one of the porta potties locked for camp use only and the other one open for public use. And then lastly, we've been working on the Waterville Valley Circuit Trail, which one is being sponsored by the town for a proposal to the Forest Service, which that is still in the works. But we've created another one through lots of hard work by Brenda Conklin, Dee Smith, and Marvin Weinberger. So we're going to be trying to launch this 36-mile already existing trails and call it the Waterville Skyline Trail or something like that. So that's something I'm hoping to sort of push out this summer and get some, get people aware of that, what we already have in existence. It starts at the BTS parking lot, so we're going to be talking to them, make sure that's okay for parking, and we're just hoping that that's going to give people some hiking to do here. So a bigger project than just one or two tools. So that's it.
Except for the Great Rock.
Oh, and the Great Rock. Oh my gosh, there's so many things I could expand on, but I know there's only so much time. We do have so much going on right now in the rec, and a lot of stuff coming back this summer, and the rock hunt is on.
Yes.
Thank you.
All the rocks have been appropriately labeled with WVRD thing on the back, hoping that people will
Won't
not
take
take
them.
them this year.
Property hunt.
Somebody has already taken one out of the tree and put it on the ground.
Oh.
Was that on both of that?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
It wasn't. Okay, calendar review, our next.
Oh, we got public safety.
Sorry, I was just gonna go right by that because we know we have Dylan coming up with a big
Yes.
presentation. All right, public safety.
I'll start. Don't have a whole lot to report. Dave's been very busy with fishing derby and National Night Out. I'll let him talk about that. We've been busy with a couple, I guess, issues at the Golden Eagle that we got resolved. I don't know if you've heard
Yeah.
the board or.
We started to talk about it.
Okay, I'll let Dave do that. There was some hoarding issues over there that we finally got a solution to and some movement on. And I only bring that up because the board at the Golden Eagle has been very vocal or inquisitive about what's going on over there. So I was not. Also,
How many building permits are you?
oh, yeah, this, the code enforcement office has been busy with, we have like 9 new single-family homes going up, and that doesn't include the Boho, the next to the Boho project that we're talking about north of Mile Shore. So that's been very
Are
busy.
these people pulling permits with builders and price?
Yes. Which that's not gonna happen much longer, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I'm surprised they've gotten this far.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's very, very busy. And everyone's trying to rush through it too, which I'm trying to slow people down. You know, it's like basic time. So there might be some, I've already gotten a request for them to start pulling the floor at 6 a.m. So, no, it's not gonna happen. So there's gonna be a lot of that stuff going on through the summer.
Spread around town.
Yeah, I mean, we have Tea House, Cascade Ridge, Snows Mountain, and then, of course, Golden Heights and Brownstone down there. So it's all over town. And you take that with all the other small renovations of people deciding to stay here, you know, renovating condos and things like that. It's been really busy.
The dumpsters.
They've been, no,
No construction stuff,
we're
no.
getting people in up above,
3
even
days
on
a
our
week.
days. Well, even on the off days, if there's something, you know, they call, we can get them in, but, I don't, the dumpsters.
We haven't seen a.
I've not seen
a
the
real
big
problem.
influx.
So I don't know if they want to talk about.
Yeah, Gold Eagle, we did our scheduled inspection and it was a final, kind of like our final inspection. And they were not compliant. There hadn't been any significant progress since the end of January when this first started. So we closed the unit as the health officer in the fire department. Statutorily, it took 5 months to do that because we have to show that we're trying to work with the folks that live there. But finally, we had to set a little line in the sand and say, this is the final date that this has to get done. That came and went, no significant progress, so we closed it. We posted it, statutorily we're required to post it to work, and no one can go in or out unless we allow them into the building. The tenant that was there has since moved on. The owner of the unit is now in the eviction process for that tenant. There's a 7-day process for this particular type of eviction, and that started on Monday. So by early next week, that person should legally be out, and then the cleaning process will begin for that unit. We filed with the court. We sent everything that we sent to the court. We also sent to the board. So we're as transparent as we can be with them, and we're willing to let them, what we're allowed them to do is to dictate when and how it gets cleaned. Certainly not on a Friday afternoon or a weekend or anything like that. So we're going to work with them to dictate when the owner, when they can get it clean, and we'll allow the unit to be open. And as soon as it gets mitigated, it'll revert back to that owner.
So the owner was not living there, a tenant was?
Tenant.
And you said the tenant had moved on? They
Yeah,
were no
so
longer
what-
living there?
It
No
was a
longer-
family situation. Yeah, the owner was a parent.
And so once we closed it, she could no longer stay there because of the condition.
Okay.
So she had moved on. So now they're just in the formal process of finishing the eviction. And then it will revert back to him and then he can deal with the issue that's inside. So I think he's more prepared to deal with that issue than the tenant was. So it's, we just need to wait for 7 days and then allow him to start.
Okay, I understand.
Other than that, we're planning the National Night Out. The committee met yesterday. We're still moving forward, just soliciting all the area businesses and groups that would like to participate or be sponsors. This is the month that we do it, so we can get it set. Our final meeting will be in July. But it looks like it's, as long as the weather's good, we anticipate it to be just as big, if not bigger, than in previous years. So looking forward to that.
And no COVID-19?
There isn't much to update, which is good.
Yes, it's excellent. I think in our community meeting, Dr. Wake was unable to attend, but he had one positive sentence that was read to us, which is unusual. Usually Dr. Wade is the one that comes out with something we haven't thought about, or haven't seen. And no, he's very encouraged by the rate of vaccination in New England in particular and that type of thing. So,
We've also extended a bunch of vaccinations.
Yeah, we're winding down. At the end of the month, we'll be in for us working those sites.
yeah, they had
We're doing almost 1,000 a day and down to sometimes under 100.
Yeah, and they had asked the hospitals to pick up the slack, but it turns out that the drugstores have excess supply.
Yeah.
So they really don't need to do it at the hospitals either, so.
I think our mask resolution runs to July 11th or something like that, July 14th. That was 60 days from May 14th, I believe. Unless we review it, I don't know if we want to.
You do have language in there that you can review.
Right.
If you want to put that on the agenda item for next meeting.
You might as well, although I don't think there is anything in there that we specifically have to change.
No, I would say, well, we have pretty detailed
Yeah.
thing, and maybe we just want to revert to a couple sentences that says follow CDC and state guidelines. And, or just leave it alone and let it expire on 14th of June.
The only thing that I picked up on, and I specifically went out and looked at the federal guidelines. Federal guidelines, of course, say that you have to wear masks when you're on public transportation or in an airport or bus station, train station, all of that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But it turns out that they did not remove the requirement to have it on federal lands or in federal buildings. So the United States Post Office,
Yeah.
as an example,
Yeah.
still has a requirement that you're supposed to be wearing masks.
So we
And
still got this mixed message.
so, yeah, so we have a little bit of a mixed message, and although I can remember specifically on Mountain Cleanup Day, everybody was out there without a mask, technically, on federal land, if you're within, you're supposed to keep your social distance from people, even if you're outside, so.
They got jail cell and hold on.
Yeah. But then the White House, of course, doesn't.
Right.
They don't wear masks anymore if they're fully vaccinated, so. there's-
Maybe we just monitor it and see
Yeah, exactly.
a couple of weeks whether it's worth addressing.
I know that several of our businesses are still requiring masks when people come in because they don't want to decide who is vaccinated and who isn't. Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah, fair enough. Okay. All righty, Dylan.
Well, before we get into this, just a few quick updates on where we're at with some of our projects. We spoke with Apex Construction. They have reached out to me, Justin, to get that project online.
Pipe.
Yeah. So we're in coordination with them right now. The problem right now is getting the parts. It's just everything is so pushed out on it's like we're talking 2 to 4 weeks just to get a simple repair plan. So it's crazy. Maybe they'll be able to get a part even up here. We would think we've had quite a few vendors in Lebanon, Congress, and all
a little better this year.
Well,
It's actually-
2020, it's actually worse than 2020, which was our drought.
Yeah, so we're still 6
We're
inches
still
down.
6 inches behind the drought.
Can I go back to your, the system as it sits now is working.
What's that?
Our system, that pipe
Yes.
is holding, it's
bypass.
getting through. We haven't had any more failures as far as, the clay in the lagoons or any of that stuff. That's been all holding.
Well, we have that code drain installed, and it still has flow through that, it's capturing it, it's still.
Okay, so that breach is still there.
Correct.
So we still haven't gotten that together. We are waiting for the people to come in with the cameras. That's the correct, or they?
No, that was done, they discovered the break in that force.
Oh, okay, but didn't we have to fix that break before we could get further with the camera? Or last I can remember.
Yeah.
Was we were a bunch of turns
Yes,
where we had a break which stopped us from going into the, like, yes.
correct,
So we're still there with that?
right, so the break that was discovered was the cause of where the sag in the field was.
Okay.
And that was where our concern was, that the break is, we still want to, when we cut that pipe, we're probably going to coordinate, because pipes going to be exposed. anyway.
Right.
We'll coordinate it at that point to have them come out with the camera while we're there.
And get to the next section.
Exactly.
Get to the-
Which we don't know is what that condition is.
Right.
Correct, we have no idea what's further up.
Could be
Yeah,
fine.
But the leak is still there.
Right, no, I'm just trying to get that.
We're-
The leak is
we're-
still there, but we're managing the leak.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
leak is
that's
not in any huge danger of creating,
It's controlled.
Morgan
is.
Freeman catastrophes.
That's
He calls everyone in and.
Sewage floods the valley floor.
Well, no, I'm talking about the system failing and not being able to be used for a little while.
Right.
You know, so people should know that
Yes.
when we talk
Yeah.
about this, that we have it managed. It's broken but managed.
Correct.
And that's why we're spending this money and continue to spend money.
Right.
And that's why we asked for the appropriation of town meeting, because we knew this was going to happen. It wasn't going to be something simple to go, oh, yeah, we're done.
But that's a very good point too, Mike, in that there's another, the leaks continue at the sludge lagoon.
That's what I
And
was
there's
asking about.
another pipe that goes up to the sludge lagoon itself, right? Not where it's, not where the crack we found, but up by the lagoon itself.
Yeah.
Is still leaking, and we will have to address
No,
that.
no, okay, this is a new leak or the same old leak?
No, it's the same.
That's what I thought.
The leak, it's the same, we have 2 leaks, we have 2 different
Yeah.
leaking issues. So we have,
No, I'm aware,
right,
but
so
they're both leaking, but yeah.
the one up by the sludge lagoon is something that needs to be dug. From what I've been able to gather information on it, seems like it's an element that's broken on, whether it's cracked or if it's just broken, I'm not sure, but that's what it seems like is going on there. So that will have to be dug. Fixed.
And this is on a pipe that's pumping from regular lagoon to the sludge lagoon,
No, so it actually comes from the clarifiers inside of the plant.
or? Okay.
It pumps out to the sludge lagoon. So the line goes out of the building, it almost follows the raw line, goes along the walking path on the north side of the lagoons.
Mhm.
Then it just cuts in right before the end of the walking path, up to the ponds and back.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think it's good to keep everybody informed of the fact that we have a 47-year-old plan and we're doing a lot of Band-Aids to keep things working and controlled as we go forward. And this may just be the tip of the iceberg, particularly when we get into discussing some of the new EPA requirements that are going to come in on top of this. So, yeah. Okay.
Do you want to keep going?
Yes, let's keep going with the, we got the drought status covered, and we're still in drought, and we're still keeping our water restrictions on. Yes, let's go on and talk about the, what is it?
AC.
I've got it here at pages 26, 25 through 41. But I think this is really extensive. And this could be just a 3-hour questioning period with Dylan, is I'm reading these things and I really don't know what the end result, or do you know what the end results are?
Absolutely. So are you talking about the requirements where they're adding?
Well, I've got your requirements here on the graph.
Yeah.
Then I've got a synopsis. But the synopsis, I haven't really had a chance to process this full synopsis. As far as, it says, I'd rather have you explain what's going on, but as far as how we're going to operate, how we're going to have to operate. And I'm not understanding what it really means. They haven't said to us, you need to build this to be in compliance.
They will never tell us what they need to build.
Okay, so I'm not that far off.
No, yeah, you're right on the money.
But I've read this and I've tried to process it. And the variables there are, for a layman, are just all over the board. And I don't know if we can sit here and have 6 hours worth of questions and still have no answers, is what you're telling me. We're not going to.
Well, I have answers to your questions. It's just that the EPA is never going to be your savior with stuff like this. They will give you the strictest parameters that they can issue. It's up to the engineers that you have to build a facility to meet the parameters.
But I don't even see how you're going to get from A to B. And B would be the new requirements that are supposed to come in fairly quickly.
They would have to give us
So-
an extended.
Well, that's the key
So
question.
the way that this is gonna work is, we're currently working under all the blue stuff, right? That's what and the plant with the Band-Aids that we're putting on
Right.
is currently meeting everything that's in the blue.
Mhm.
Right.
The green area are the new permit requirements. Some of them are unchanged from our existing permit. The ones I've highlighted in yellow are areas where there are changes between the two permits, okay? And then,
You have some
so,
language
so
below.
that, right, and then, so that just lays out the technical numbers and
Right.
reporting requirements, right? So then,
Is
on
it,
the-
and before we go on, does this, as I read it, most of what I am reading says not new requirements, but test more frequently on the things you're doing now?
test more frequently, and there are some requirements that are more stringent. So as an example, the ammonia nitrogen limits are higher or more strict going forward with the new permit than they currently are. That's why I highlighted that 11.4 milligrams per liter. The number, and I did miss one, there's actually total phosphorus got lowered slightly. It went from 0.75 to 0.71. So that should be highlighted.
But see, these things, to me, are minutia.
Right.
The questions that I have is, do we need to go to 24/7 manning of the plant, which we haven't done in the past?
Right.
Do we have the capabilities of having a plant that can operate under these guidelines and get us to these numbers?
With the current plant, you're talking about.
With the proposed permit.
With the current facility.
With the
The
current
current
With the current facility, yeah.
Right.
But can we Band-Aid it, ramp it up, duct tape it to get to a place of a median towards these new things?
That's
Or
Long enough.
what do we do?
EPA
So
will
that's
come back.
number one.
Correct.
That's number one in the synopsis sheets.
The
That's
next
what
page.
number
Right,
one.
no, I've
addresses.
got that.
Okay, so go ahead.
It says we would have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to retrofit the existing facility. This could be wasted money if we could not reuse this on the next one. The question is, will the hundreds is plural. Is it 100 or 200, or is it 700 or 800? And will that 700 or 800 give us what we need, or do we have to go completely to? That's why I'm kind of overwhelmed by
Okay,
this.
so to answer your question, more or less with EPA, if you go down the road of submitting that you're going to build a new treatment facility to meet new parameters, historically, in almost every instance, they will give you a window. Typically, it's 3 years, sometimes longer, from the date that you tell them you're going to have to build a new facility to meet these parameters. They can't, and they're not very reasonable, but they can't expect you to meet a permit that's as strict as the one issued when you have never, with data proven, been able to do it in the past.
Yeah.
So
So
that's what we have on our side.
yeah, we went through that with Dan,
That's right.
and we thought with the dam we could use reasonable.
Never-
Yes, no, and really, and we kicked it out down the road a lot of time. but we still had to spend and get into stuff that we didn't want to. They made us do certain. My question is, at what point do we know what they're gonna make us do, or what point? This is all premature questions, because we just got this thing a couple of days ago.
All of this that's on here,
Yeah.
unless our comments make them change something, just assume that all this is gonna be on our final permit.
Yeah,
The question is,
We
but
went
when?
in
Well,
for August of this year will be the clock, and we have 1 year
right.
to have everything upgraded
To meet
in our
these new
existing, to meet this new.
Right, but we went through that on the dam where we thought we had a plan, and then as soon as we got the plan 2 years later, said, we changed our mind, that plan's not gonna work, you're gonna do.
Well,
Well, this is a
they-
5-year.
This is a 5-year permit. We're expecting that this will be a 5-year permit. That if they told us, we have until June 23rd to respond, then they're gonna take a month or two to review our comments and make their decision whether or not they're gonna modify the requirements, okay? If they say no, we're not gonna modify anything, you have 1 year. We're anticipating that will be August when they tell us that. And then we will have 1 year from August, so we'll have till August of 22 to meet all of these requirements.
So what we need to do is we need to get an extension beyond that 1 year.
That is.
That should be the key
that
objective
is-
right now,
And
That is-
what's happened with us in the past, by showing good faith,
right?
they've given us extensions. But what happened to us the last time that we went through all these extensions, during the extensions, they
They
changed the parameters.
they changed the ground.
But then that won't happen here. Well,
I want it.
By law, they
Oh,
can't.
okay.
This is gonna be a permit that we're going to be
Okay.
told in August how long this permit is good.
So we're not gonna know really till August till what we have to design based on our comments back to them, of what we have and what we can do.
Exactly.
But as I understand it, except for, there was one area, I'm looking for it now, that you really had, you had a problem with, the total suspended solids. If we basically accept the permit as is and just ask for an extension, and maybe argue on the total suspended solids, that may be our best path going forward to get an extension, if I'm reading this
As
correctly.
well as the ammonia.
And the
And the
ammonia.
ammonia, what- yeah,
The
okay.
ammonia,
And what about number 3?
Behind door number 3.
Yeah.
well, that's,
The sequence.
All
of
the
acts.
time. Oh, wait.
Yeah, like how we're gonna get rid of it, this, I think, is the biggest one now.
Well, in order to build a facility, obviously, this one has to stay in operation.
Right.
And build. The good thing about supersonic batch reactors is that they optimize the available land that you have. They're a small package and they do everything.
What do you call small package?
The whole facility would fit inside one of the rooms.
That's a small.
So
Send them a deposit.
it's not anything massive.
Okay, no, that's the question we have, because our space is our biggest concern, issue, besides everything else. But
And just thinking a couple steps ahead, I don't want to digress too much, but this almost ensures we're not going the ground discharge route. When we're going EPA, we're going to meet the requirements, except maybe argue a couple points with them, ask for the extension, and we're going to show our good faith because we've got a $5 million bond, get the engineering, and we're going to abide by this.
well, we are at the beginning.
Right.
We are, but the DES regulations require us to look at multiple
Okay.
options. So we are gonna continue to look at groundwater discharge,
Right.
evaluate it, so that when we present the engineering report in the middle of next year,
Right.
DES will see that we looked at different options.
Right.
Because that's what the regs require us to do.
That makes sense.
We're
That makes sense.
really leaning towards the SPRs at this point because they take up the lease footprint and they meet all of the requirements. But we still have to go through that exercise.
The toughest thing-
DES won't let us, I wish that it was as easy as just sending.
I
the
don't
deposit.
understand why, but there's a lot of.
But that's-
So.
Is it likely that if they understand we're on our way to building us continue to operate as we are operating rather than spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes,
That is
we
not
will
useful.
make that, we will make
That's our
that
primary
argument. That's our primary argument.
That's what happened with
Yeah.
Denmark. It let us continue to say, saw good faith. And we had a couple of come to Jesus meetings where they said, by this day, we want this over.
Well, except remember, it's a different group of people.
But they're all,
No, these people are much worse. Matt. This is
I
DES.
wouldn't
This
say
is
the DES were good. They were very nice people to deal with. No, they weren't completely unreasonable. They didn't have any points that were made that were unfounded.
Right, we're
Okay.
just worried, remember that we meet the lowest standard that they have given us, the most stringent standard that they have given us. We meet that 2 months, 3 months out of the year, 2 months out of the year,
This is on
July and August,
Right.
with ammonia, right? We're worried, one of the issues with the timing is they're just gonna look at us and go, you already meet these standards, so just meet them. And not give us an extension.
But do they understand the problem?
We're gonna
doing
make
it?
that,
Yeah.
we are gonna make that argument.
I just
Yes.
wanted to add to what you had said, the hundreds of thousands in dollars spent. It may not be because we have to meet this week permit sooner rather than later. It may just be.
Because something
continue
breaks.
to meet, yeah. it
Right.
may just be
Oh, yeah,
continue to
no,
meet the
no,
current
Yeah,
permit.
and I understand that.
So I just wanted to add that.
Right.
But I just see the word hundreds of thousands. I don't know if it's 200s or 700s.
Yeah, it's a big question up in the
It's
air.
more around
Yeah.
500,
Well,
600.
it wasn't spelled out.
Well, the- Yeah, it goes back to other reports that. So,
So where we stand.
well, these are the things, the arguments that we are gonna be making to them. We are gonna push back on, the chemicals, because some of the chemicals that the limits, make us use are more dangerous than what we currently do. But they may not let us, they may just say you have to deal with it. We are, it is a big change. Number 2 is a big change for us. And that is something that a couple of factors have influenced that. Our system is very young compared to other sewer treatment collection systems around the state and the country, right? It's only about 40, 50 years old. A lot of it's new. However, now we have to address it every year. We have to inspect it. We have to have a plan if anything breaks. And it's a lot of man hours. It's stuff that's going to be doable, but it's definitely going to take a lot more time to do that. Before, if a sewer line broke or we had infiltration or backup at a manhole, we'd go fix it.
Go fix it.
Now,
Yeah.
we're going to have to be more proactive. And that's a big shift. And now it's part of our permit requirement. So we're going to be doing this reporting not to DES, but to the EPA.
But we started this last year when we got in with those
The
cameras to
assessment.
track down all the water leaks.
That was just
Start-
infiltration. This is.
Oh, no, I get it, but it's, I think it's a good practice. I don't have a
Oh, yeah.
problem with that at all.
No, it's a good thing to have.
Yes, but we're just not
No.
staffed to do it.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think the issue is going to be that we're going to have to look at, as Rich said, what kind of community we're going to be in 2 or 3 years.
And it also makes it more of a big deal when there's new development and how that new development is built and how it comes online, when it comes online. That's all stuff that we could do internally before. Now, we're gonna have to be very careful in our record keeping and our reporting.
Are there things we could do to enhance the probability of getting an extension on some of these really, this isn't the right word, comes to my head, onerous requirements for us before a new plant comes online, expensive requirements? Are there things we can do in the interim that would help our argument, saying, look, we can do these things But we still need an extension for all the other
Yes.
six.
And we're looking at pieces that we can replace, which are actually reusable in the new plan. That will help us meet some of the requirements, and we'll tell them we'll do those things because we can reuse them.
So we can do
So-
those things where we've got the bond, we got the plans,
That's right.
engineering, so it's
That's
all showing we're moving in the right direction.
That's
Okay.
It's,
It's the same blueprint we use for the dam,
Yeah.
where, we show them all of these things. And I think you got a great
Yeah,
plan here to show them what we can do, what we can't do in the good faith, the fact that we
Right.
raised that 5 billion.
That's where
It shows them that we're willing to go and do what we
Right.
have to do.
except for the dam project, we got consent.
Well, no, but be ready for that because that's the way the EPA works. We will get
I
a,
see, that could be
when they
natural.
agree to the extension, we will get a consent decree
I see,
from them that says, we're gonna give you this extra time, but you must be done by this date. And so
Meet
there
all
won't
the
be any
requirements.
moving off that.
Right, and then we're going to, negotiate some terms of completion.
Exactly.
yeah, we want to do it,
Yeah.
Shovels in the ground.
right, and we're gonna have 5 years. This is a
Oh,
5-year permit.
Well,
Let's see.
not saying that.
Well, I'm saying this is a 5-year permit, I mean, if we can get the extension,
Well, the 5-year permit means from the date that
From the
it's
date
issued.
done.
it starts, right,
Right, and then 5 years, it's
You go-
reevaluated.
Right.
reissue a new permit.
Right.
So,
and remember I put in here somewhere, I don't remember which paragraph, but we are being told to monitor for chemicals, the nitrates, the nitrates, because they have said that they want information before they give us more permit requirements. So,
So there might be
in year
maybe more
6,
coming.
oh, there are more.
Oh, yeah, this is.
They've told us.
This is the shot across the bow.
Yeah,
Right.
they actually told us in the paperwork when they gave
Mhm.
us these new limits,
Mhm.
why they are making us monitor more frequently. And they're doing it because they're going to give us new permit limits
And they
in the
they
future.
suggested building a facility that can meet total nitrogen.
I see,
Yeah,
but that would be for a follow-on permit to this permit, or it's gonna be included in this.
no, we're going to build a plant
Right.
taking that into consideration as if they gave us new permit requirements. So year
Okay.
6, we don't have to go back in and
Right, that's what I was
revise.
asking. Right,
That's the
Plan.
trick is you don't want to have to, ask the town people for X amount of money and then go back to them 2 years later and say, hey, we got a new permit. This is,
Right.
so. The other big one that I wanted to mention was, up top of that chart where the highlights are rolling average or effluent flow. That's gonna be a 12-year growing average. where-
12 months.
Not, sorry, 12-month growing average, not 12-year, 12-month growing average. Whereas before it was just month to month, there was nothing that averaged to grow out. So Mark had mentioned this to me the day we went over it, in February, for example. You're gonna include the winter, February, March, and then all the winter back to February. That's gonna be twice the amount of average flow. So there's gonna be times where, right now, we're not anywhere close to our 80% of our design flow, but as the town gets built up, I don't know if the town has it in the future, but anything possible, that we can get within that 80% of 550,000 gallons a day. And that's something we consider, that they are putting this in almost every permit for the rolling average. Because they don't want people to exceed, or come anywhere close to exceeding their design flow on
On an annual basis rather than a monthly. So they have been just pigeonholing month by month. Now they're looking at the entire time and the entire year. And so that's a major change because of our peaks and our peak use times. We used to just have to worry about that one month. So now,
That because of our trough use times, isn't that gonna bring our peaks down
Well,
if they start averaging over a
in
12-month period?
initially, yes, it will, and we talked to the engineers about that because we're not close to our 80%. But as we get closer to build out, or as we add more full-time residents, or, the valleys are getting smaller. And so this rolling average in the future could impact.
Line or something.
That's right.
Yes, strictly because we're in a drought right now. It starts thinking if we had, you know,
Regularly.
regular rainfall, we'd be 20 to 30% higher than what we typically see this time of year in years past. So
So
Now, are there any, if we're going to offer to do some of this before we get a new plant online, I'm looking at paragraph 3 about running a plan 24/7, 365. Are we looking at higher personnel costs now, I mean, or next year?
that's something that's going to be up to the board and administration to figure out. Because as of right now, in our plant design, we really don't have.
Right, we can't run that plant to the degree they want it monitored, so, you know, we can have it monitored, but it won't be running.
Yeah,
No.
we don't have anything that states like actual staffing. Even so nowadays, for example, with the new facility, they will give you a staffing plan. Yeah, staffing requirement, staffing plan. When the plant was built, they didn't have anything like that.
Right.
So
as far as whether or not we're going to impact, it'll come down to their decision when we have to make it. If we can
Okay,
wait,
that was my question.
if we can wait, then I don't think we have to necessarily change.
This is not something we're gonna offer to do prior to the new.
No,
plan.
no, no.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at.
We're just gonna offer to do the best we can to keep our plant running prior to the new.
That's what we're going to offer.
Yeah, and we're gonna
That's
offer
right.
them our pure intention,
That's
by showing the engineering, showing willing
Right.
to work with the criticism.
Money on the line.
Exactly, that's all we do.
23, 24,
We
we're.
can't make a proactive offer of, hey, we're gonna add some more money next week. How does that?
right.
How do you guys
Exactly.
feel about that?
No, we're not going to do that.
Working in North
Exactly.
It's not going.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we have another meeting scheduled for tomorrow, Friday, to go over our first draft of the comments. I'll send those to you when we have those drafted up on our actual response letter.
You say you wanted potentially to meet before the 20.
Well, if you
Third,
see something in that letter that you question, we
So
can
what are
have
you
a,
going to provide them?
I'm
Letter
sorry,
TPA.
Right.
the letter to EPA. If you see something in that letter that you question, we can have a special meeting. if you want.
I just understand.
Because the
I
letter-
understand.
The letter is actually due at EPA by 4 p.m. on the 23rd.
And when you think you'll have it?
Well, it'll depend on our
Yeah,
conversation on Friday, probably by next Monday or Tuesday. We'll have the first.
I'm sure you'll pass it around and get your comments. Whatever, things like that.
I'm good at that.
that's going to be the engineers that write this stuff.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I mean. I'm not sure I understand what I'm reading, but that's okay.
But
They
you
don't
be sure,
always have good
you be sure it's punctuated properly.
I can make sure of that, yeah.
For sure.
One thing I can do.
Okay,
All right.
do we have anything else we need to talk to Bill on now?
Water system project?
The water system project, you saw the list of the additional contractors, and those will be the ones in addition to our locals that we send the project to.
What's the timing on that now? I know we've extended it.
It'll be out to bid by next week. And we were gonna give them 28 days roughly, so around the 14th, the middle of July. As I said in the memo, I don't think that we'll be able to get the bids in and evaluate them and have a recommendation for you by the 14th. So you may want to push that meeting a week. Or have it sometime that next week. I don't know what you
Let's see what we
do.
get, let's play it by ear. I think what most of us are around, we don't have a calendar.
And we're gonna get a shovel in the ground.
The shoveling the ground would be August, before the end of August. And be working,
But to get the whole project done.
no, the pipe, this is just the pipe. The electronics and the controls will be a separate bid process. And that will go up next, because that can be done during the winter. So if we can get the,
And you had some interested contractors out there at the site, right, this week, is that?
no, what we were walking through with the ski area about relocating as part of this work that we're gonna do with the pipe in the ground. We're gonna change the entrance to the treatment facility and reroute the connector trail. I think I mentioned to you that we had some vandalism at well 3.
I didn't hear about that.
Okay, so we had spray painting of the cover on well 3. They climbed the fence that we have around it. So I've been talking to Tim about relocating the connector trail so that we can secure the 2 well buildings better than we currently do. So he's got an easement that goes right through the middle of those 2 buildings for the cross-country ski trail to bring it. So we can move that easily, but while we have a contractor in there digging up and installing pipe, we may want, but I don't have anything to show them as far as where that
Potentially
could
reposition.
potentially redo. So we were talking to Tim and Ian when you walked by about where that could potentially go. So
There won't go
hopefully
between the 2
the next,
buildings now.
it will, we want to move it so it
Right,
no longer
away from the
goes
buildings.
away from the building. So I will have a map by the next meeting to,
We don't have.
I'll
cameras.
forward you
We
that.
don't have cameras down in Walker. right?
Not yet, there's no electricity down there. But as part of the pipe project, we are supposed to get electric conduit so that we can get electricity. For the fence. Yeah, no, for cameras on the fence, but we will take some steps to try to secure that fence.
Do we know where that happened?
There was some other vandalism that went on in the National Forest. It was maybe, what, 2 weeks ago? But yeah, it was, they built some little structures out in the National Forest, and they sprayed, dammed up the West Branch River in a couple of spots with some rocks and spray painting.
Antifa?
No,
Guys ready for Antifa?
Jamie?
Magus?
Yeah, Julia. Goins.
Okay. Alright.
So I will have that map.
Consequence of the larger population.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. You want anyone to become residents.
Yes.
Even I got in.
Exactly. All right, how about calendar review? Our next regular meeting is June 23rd at 3. And that will be in person, and the planning board has a meeting tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 8 in the morning, be there. And it's in person. It's
It is
hybrid.
in person,
It's
hybrid. A majority of the board is here.
I'll be watching from the comfort of my home.
Just get a cup of coffee.
Request to waive property tax late fee.
I read it, I didn't have a problem.
I don't have a problem with
I'm
that.
good.
The problem that happens is, we send, most realtors in town, I think all of us, send a change of address over to Sharon as soon as something closes, but she can't go by that, she has to wait for the deed to get here. And we just went through it this week with all these closings, people not getting their tax bills, we're trying to get them to the new owners and all that.
Happens twice a year, happens in May, because the tax bill happens in October.
And people don't remember how the tax season runs, even after it's been explained to them at closing. So we get, yeah, okay, probably.
So you're okay, you're okay.
Well, it is $46.97.
What do we have your limit at now?
That was 50, wasn't
Didn't we waive?
35.
I think it was 35.
35.
35.
Legal is 35.
35.
You want to make it
50,
50?
anybody?
it? I will make a motion to waive that late fee.
I will second that motion.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Do we want to raise?
Aye.
Mark's?
I think
Howard.
it might be considered very irresponsible for how little thought and how quickly we've raised his ability to do this over the past 6 months.
Yeah,
But I don't
we
have
went from $25 to $50,
Yeah.
100% increase.
I don't have a problem
Aren't you at 35?
Yeah.
No, yeah, but we were at 25.
Right.
So I went to
I think we
35.
were at 10 before that.
I think it was at 10 when it first started.
Yes, I think so.
So,
So, I would like to make a motion to raise Mark's ability to waive property
Fees and
tax
fees.
late fees in the amount of $50 or less. Can I have a second?
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, amendment number 1 to the ice arena agreement.
I didn't see any problems with it. I thought it was covered, very simple.
Yep.
And it's what we agreed to in principle with them. So-
and I've talked to John Fontes and he's okay with the repayment schedule.
Well, I don't know if $1,246.78 would be worth $1,246.78. 15th of December.
You can talk to Janet
2031.
Yellen about that. I will make a motion to approve this amendment to this.
I will second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Mark, you want to talk about road repairs?
Yeah, we are getting numbers from several contractors. We're looking at the intersection of Valley Road and Lost Pass Road up to the entrance to the golf clubhouse to review that section of the road. There's a lot of truck traffic in and out of the golf clubhouse because of the restaurants. So they have food.
It's not even that, it's construction going up the hill, it's gonna be worse.
Bull run.
And
But
there,
it is pretty, that pothole area is huge.
it's down to like 2 feet across. So we're looking at making improvements to that area. I have talked to Tom Myrick and to Craig about taking the island out of there. It causes a lot of problems with plowing, winter maintenance, and it is, in Jim's opinion, causing some of the drainage issues that we have there. So he is working on getting a new grade plan together for the contractors when they go in to make the repairs. We're gonna remove that island and just have it as a normal intersection. So I don't know, from a public safety standpoint, there shouldn't be any issues. It'll actually make it easier.
And the homeowners association is all right?
Well, Tom, I did mention it to Tom. I don't know if he's talked to the rest of the homeowners association, but he didn't have any problems.
Nice.
They just want it to be repaired.
Yeah, there's got to be another place they can put the sign. Right? They still want to have the sign. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I saw
And
when they redid the Hanford parking lot, I saw they had an infrared company come in on that. I saw the sign. that came up. Yeah.
so the patches that we've done out here have held up pretty well, and the one at Village and Valley has held up pretty well. So as far as the.
Are we going to use that company again?
Probably, no, this isn't a patch like that. This is a complete rebuild. So this will be some of the Johnstons.
Right.
And additionally, we have several manholes that are causing us concern. Lost Pass Road, you can actually reach under the pavement or around the edge of the and the one on Village Road needs to be repaired, and a couple of others. So we're getting prices on those repairs as well. So
And that comes out of our reserve account for.
well, yeah, and I will bring the actual numbers in on the 23rd at our next meeting for you. Yeah.
And there are no, there's no construction plan for that area by the property owner in the near future.
No, this is an established house entrance. It's not. It's the one just at the end of the circle, at the lower end of the circle on the left-hand side of the road. Forget who the property owner is. Might be your neighbor. For the house just before you get to the circle on the last pass.
To the right,
On the left. No,
on the left, would be Cutler's.
maybe. But the manhole is really sinking. Yeah.
All the brickwork.
The brickwork is flat. And one of the things that we're doing to help the ongoing maintenance is we have allowed brickwork at the top to make that final adjustment. But in some cases, there were 17 courses of brick that were put in. So instead of another concrete piece riser, so we're gonna remove any of these manholes that we repair. We're gonna remove a lot of that brickwork, get it out of there, put a concrete riser in, and then now they're making a hard plastic sealer riser. Now it's a foot, or it's about a
It's
foot.
adjustable.
It's adjustable. So, but it's made out of heavy duty plastic. And it will seal a lot better at the top.
So it removes the need for the brick and the mortar. Basically, just prevents the water from running around the ring of the manhole.
So we're gonna try that technology rather than put brick back in, because it just deteriorates. I mean, those structures are only
Those are
15, 10, 15 years old.
And this also sags in the line up there as well because of the manholes settling down in the brickwork. So
So we're gonna, yeah, we're gonna get those. Okay. Last one.
And other special.
Still nothing on the big road project. They're still fighting in Washington.
Yes,
With money, so we'll
If
see.
we determine we have to wait, we won't get reimbursed. That's the way
Yes, that is the issue. So we cannot
we've lost.
issue.
Even with the minor repairs.
Well, the minor repairs, in going over that list,
Yeah.
the minor repair roads were Drake's Brook Road, Greeley Hill Road, Golden Heights Road, and Packard's Road. Those were the four that were the small ones at the top of the list. And River Road was, but that was a bigger amount of money. So I was looking for 10,000 less. So those four were 10,000 less. We don't want to make any changes on Golden Heights Road because of what could potentially be done. At Greeley Hill Road, we looked at, Jim's looking at it again, but we can't see spending $10,000 to do repairs up there. We just repaved it about 5 years ago. And it's in pretty good shape, and it seems to be draining well. We haven't gotten any complaints about it. So that may, if we have to do this intersection at Lost Pass, I'd rather put it on there than spend it up on the road. Packard's Road, we're gonna look at, it's only about $4,000 or so we can probably do that. And what was the other one I said?
I don't know, but I think we should do it. If he's gonna,
Drake's Brook.
when he's moving that sign, maybe we do something in the corner of Walton Path and Valley.
Okay,
That whole corner is one way as well.
Yeah.
Patch on that.
People drive on.
Yeah.
The road.
yeah,
And then turn.
we'll look at that intersection. Okay, so I'm not planning on addressing those for this,
Okay, so it's gonna leave it all alone.
other than
Continue to
maybe
wait.
Packard's,
Yeah, other than
whatever
Packard's.
repairs that they have, and that may be the intersection of Packard's and Valley Road, it's a sin widening. People don't make that turn.
Okay. Food trucks. Have a couple applications.
Those old applications?
No, yeah,
They're examples.
those are examples. We didn't make a final decision that you wanted to evaluate where we were and you wanted to discuss it further before you made a final decision on how to handle food trucks overall going forward.
Part of that too was if they were gonna check it.
So the off-site solicitation permit is something that we have used in the past. That all this means is if you don't own the land where you're doing the temporary sales or whatever sales you're doing, you have to get that permit and permission from the landowner. So if you want to handle them this way, we can. Have you guys seen a big problem as far as when a food truck comes in, that it's causing any public safety issues?
And
Or,
that's all taken into consideration. Pretty much.
how do you want to see
See, I
it?
hate to back this up, but something just dawned on me. What do we define as a food truck? Is a food truck,
Well, yeah, I think that's why we encompassed it as off-site solicitation.
right, but here's the question, if you are renting space from someone, is it off-site? If you are impinging on a public roadway, see, that's the big concern I have, is when they create a public, like you did an ice cream truck, where you had 30 people pulled in for your ice cream truck, and they're all parked on the road to get to the ice cream.
We wouldn't let them park there, I guess.
Right, but,
So the off-site
but can you
is,
define that when you give them the permit?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So an off-site refers to them being off their site. not
Off
it
their
being-
property.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
They're not
so I
I'm okay
agree,
with
is it a
whatever you guys
hot dog
wanna do.
cart?
I
But
think-
Mike, you're right, is it a hot dog cart? Is it an ice cream truck
Right.
that runs around?
Is it someone who pulls in a trailer and leaves it for a season?
Exactly. Yeah, so how do we want to deal with?
Do other
this?
towns?
So you ask them how long they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
And their permit is only good for when they're gonna be there. In the permit, they have to, give a specific detailed location of where they're gonna be. And if it's questionable, they draw it on a diagram of the property.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, on the permit, we can even add that you're not to disturb vehicular and pedestrian traffic, normal flow of traffic. And I don't know if it's really, I don't even know if we need to charge a permit fee, but just make sure we go through the process. Other towns charge between $25 and $200. $25 a day, some are 200 a week, some are 50 a week. You know, it's way all over the place.
Did we charge?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Is it per
But
day,
this-
is it per season, is it per?
This was a COVID, I mean, you caveated this pretty heavily when you said yes, that it was because of the pandemic, because that's what Craig's argument was, he could no longer, or could not run his restaurant
Right.
the way he was, and these guys were taking the place of his restaurant. Now we're talking about post-COVID, because they want to continue, and they are continuing.
So the race center wants to do them.
The
Anyway,
race center
right,
wants to do them.
and it does involve, or could involve, site plan review, if you want to go that route, because we did amend the site plan review to include additional or increased outdoor use of such area for dining or recreation, including seating decks and patios. So is a food truck an increase outdoor use?
I think it would be if it were more than a week. Yeah, a weekend, I guess,
I don't,
look at it as temporary.
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Chris, I mean, it's just.
Right, no,
Where do we draw,
Well, that's part of my question to you is where do we want to draw these? lines? Because the trailer, whoever said it, the trailer parked there for the season, that's a real thing.
Or as the ice cream guy, what's the enforcement if the ice cream guy says, I'm gonna park at this part of the thing? Gets there, there's no parking space when he parks on the side closest to the road, we have traffic issue.
Right.
And our guys are up the woods hauling people out of the trees. I don't know.
I for one would like to see an ice cream truck going around the valley, if they don't have an ice cream.
Yeah, no. What do you guys want? What do you guys think? You don't have to say today, maybe do we want to take this?
Yeah, I mean, my gut feeling is if they're gonna be here more than 3 days, then they should probably
Go through minor site plan review.
Yeah.
But then you have to wait for the planning board to meet to give them that approval, so.
What you would do if you're looking to do something for an extended period, like for a 3-month period starting.
Oh,
in-
yeah, I get that, but I'm just talking about the timing of the planning board where someone calls up, well, I'm gonna go to Waterville, I wanna put my truck there. Oh, wait a minute, it's,
That's a month and a half.
it's
before I
June,
can do
it's June 10th, so I
Right.
can't get on the planning board until July.
Right,
And then,
no, I hear you.
I think we have to create an ease of use.
I agree with you. I got no problem with food trucks and it's just,
But I think, Mike, the way to handle that example is to say, for a period not to exceed X, you can get it, you can do it through offsite solicitation.
Yeah, but then here's the problem, I invest in a food truck. I get my period of not exceeding X and pay $50. I go to the planning board, and the planning board goes, oh, no, you can't do that without spending $6,000 to retrofit your truck to do this. It's the kind of thing where it's weird, we had food trucks in the winter last year, and we might have them again, but I think this is more of a summer issue and a warm weather issue, because I watched poor Rory, he was here on Sunday, at the parking lot at 100 degrees, and the only thing he had was flies. It was just that quiet. But,
this here Sunday.
Yeah, Rory Black,
right to this, where the golf carts are usually parked.
at the golf course.
Yeah, it's right next to the golf club. See, this is
Well,
the
you don't have
other,
a permit to be
Yeah, see, this is,
this
there,
is,
because we were told that they were gonna be done at the end of March.
yeah, and also he told me that Taglia is coming up and doing they gotta rotate every other Sunday or something.
if you look at, I think in the current wigwag, it's advertised food trucks on certain nights.
And the golf club,
At the golf course.
that was never approved.
I don't know what to say, if you want, I'll grab you guys who can come up with some reasonable terms and create some remedies and some enforcement fees. And there's no enforcement, if not allowing someone's doing it, yeah, this is.
Well, there's nothing.
We
to
did have a
develop.
promise that they wouldn't be here after March,
Yes.
and it's right in a public meeting. I promise you they'll be gone. Which I don't
I
have a,
told you guys.
I
Okay, I didn't know
don't
that-
have a problem with them being here, but we need to,
Oh, no, I agree with you. See, I don't know that he didn't talk to you guys, or this is the first time hearing, or these guys didn't have permission. I know he went that way. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I agree with you, it's not.
But that's why it's on the agenda right now, because.
But this is a separate issue. This is,
yeah.
we're told one thing and.
No, but it is the reason that I put it on the
Okay.
agenda so that we could get a decision about how we were gonna handle it. Because if there is a plan, a new plan that we haven't been told about, that is to have them here all summer, that is different.
But I'm gonna go back to my basic premise, which it's wrong, and I don't wanna be defending this, but I have to, because I've always had the premise that the golf course is a separate property because of the liquor license, food truck license it's had. It has a license to sell food and drink on its place on a moving cart, something with wheels on it. So I've always thought from the beginning that the golf course property was exempt from this, which doesn't have anything to do with him saying it's
No,
not.
it's a good argument, but still, we have to check their health.
No, I get you with all of
Yeah.
that, and that's why this is such a conflicting question for me. You know, because that's the only reason I've said the golf course has a right to do this, without, you know.
Well, but we have the catering license in our other food truck issue that's coming up.
That's a different thing. It's, the golf course has a license for a moving cart that sells food and beverage. It's, I remember renewing, well,
Yeah, but it's the golf course stuff.
Right.
Not an outside.
but that's where you get into the gray area. That's where.
And again, I don't have a problem with it, it's just checking the state health
Yeah.
inspection certificate, making sure that it's clean.
Yeah.
Making sure that, you know, it's not gonna catch on fire.
No, I get
Safe,
you.
you know, that's the only thing we're really.
But right now, it's advertised Sundays, 1 to 8, 1 a.m., 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., alternate trucks week.
I didn't even think about that.
I guess I see a food truck different from a food cart. I mean, I guess
It's the things, I see it as a movable.
it's the original question.
Yeah, it's a movable vehicle.
Is a hot dog cart, a food truck.
Yeah, it's a lemonade stand.
Is a lemonade
It's a
stand
food
on
truck.
wheels, a food truck.
I would say no to both of those.
But that's why
A food truck is a truck with an engine and
Yeah,
it's
I
different
think
from
it
place
all,
to place.
it's all on the preparation methods of the food.
Yeah.
So a steamed hot dog cart is just steamed hot dog. And Sharon, you may have some insight on this. But if you're preparing raw food, you know, I think that's where.
Yeah, okay, well, that's, Chris, I think you come up with a definition. Anyone who prepares raw, not pre-prepared food needs a, that's perfect. That's your criteria.
There's even refrigeration within that unit, because you get a hot day like
No,
the Sunday, you know, your contamination levels are.
Yeah.
like, you know,
No, but that's the key to it. The key to it is anyone who's preparing raw food. Or preparing food that's not pre-prepared and pre-packaged.
But if it's stored in the unit.
Yeah, no, I get that, but this creates our
But
criteria.
that would eliminate your ice cream truck.
Yeah, exactly. It eliminates your ice cream truck, it eliminates.
And your hot dog, really, it's just hot dogs are
Already
confused there.
You just can't serve raw.
But it's, what was I going with this? Yeah, and that's the food preparation part,
Yeah.
that you need to. keep an eye on.
That's the criteria.
Food trucks, I thought, and correct me, you're supposed to have a commissary that they prepare the food off-site in a licensed facility to transport to the food truck.
I think that's for catering.
But
That's how Six Burner Bistro can come do a wedding here. They're not a food truck, because all the food's prepared when they get here and they just put.
right, and the food truck is preparing the food in
Right.
the truck, and that's, I think, really sets the criteria for this.
Okay, so if,
Anyone preparing food
Yeah.
for sale
Yeah.
needs a permit.
okay, so what kind of permit? Like the regular off-site solicitation permit?
I would think so, but I don't think the idea about that limited site review makes any sense to us. I don't think it needs to go to the planning board. I think it needs to just go to public safety, public health. Because the timing of the planning board.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying it
And
seems to be a
anything for,
conflict. That's all.
Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that too. As long as-
I mean, aren't we really saying that we want to be advised and there needs to be an application whenever we have somebody coming in who needs to have a health and safety certificate in order to operate?
And so when we came up with that permit, that was my main focus, was that the health certificate and the safety.
So hot dog stands, golf carts,
Safety certificate,
lemonade
they
stands, they
require
don't
to have
need
our-
these things to operate. But
Yeah.
if you have a food truck, if you are planning to sell food and you require state health and safety,
Prior to that.
then
I think you.
Fire,
gotta
because
have
if you're
that
eliminating,
You've
then you
got to
don't
throw the
need
word
that.
in before that, if you're planning to prepare and sell food.
Yeah, because someone that comes in with prepared food looks under a catering license.
Yes. It's different than your ice cream truck, your kid selling lemonade.
We could make that exemption, but this is not.
Right, and that would
This
be,
does not include those that fall under catering.
but anyone with a catering license needs a state safety license too.
For
What
where
else?
they prepare the food.
For when they
Yeah.
prepare the food.
what else,
Yeah.
what else is this off-premise solicitation application used for?
Selling in type of meetings.
That's
Going
what it all
door to
came
door.
about. There's someone knocking on your door
Door to door sales.
Door to door.
to sell you or convince you for anything.
Okay.
That's how it all started. So anybody that comes in and goes door to door for anything,
Needs to have.
needs to have it.
So what we're saying is that we want to take food trucks out of the minor site plan review realm and
And put it back in the.
and just put it into the health and safety, and then we could fix that on the planning board if necessary.
That's what my suggestion is. The planning board
Yeah.
wants to do it differently. But I think it's
It's gotta be
I think it's a
someplace, that's
complete
all.
public safety issue, it just has to be an
I'm good with that, but and you have the option too, if somebody is parked there for 2 weeks and it's causing a problem, as a board, you can meet and say, all right, this is a problem.
Well, that
That's
was-
why
But I don't think we need to go to a board. I think
Yeah.
You guys
Well, we
can
can
find
do
it,
it, yeah.
Well, I mean, there were a couple things, I mean, the whole idea, one of the ideas of going in front of the planning board was that you dealt with issues like noise and just nuisance. I think what you may be referring to, but if you have some kind of time limit, you may be able to get at that.
See, I think that it's different when you put a trailer on a lot and you are there the entire summer and you're
Right.
selling there every day of the week. That needs site plan review.
Yeah,
But if you're
I-
gonna drive your food truck in and you're not staying overnight, you're just there for the 1 to 8.
No, I agree. How do we set the definition of time? Is it anything over 2 weeks?
Or what about just overnight?
Yeah, you
Anything
can't,
that's
no overnight,
no
nobody overnight.
But you can't leave it overnight.
You
Yeah,
can't leave it overnight. You gotta drive out.
Kind of like taking the horses.
Is that too restrictive? I don't know. I don't know
No,
the
I don't
business.
think it is at
That
all.
creates your class. So the guy who wants to leave it for a weekend or leave it for the summer or leave it for something like
Right.
that.
He's gotta get a permit.
He's got a higher standard of permit than the guy who's doing it for 1 day.
He's
That
gotta
makes
get
it
a
easier,
site-
which promotes all this.
Even for a weekend. I mean, a weekend.
It's overnight.
It's overnight. No, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
we go with
we're comfortable
overnight.
with overnight. I don't know the
It
business.
simplifies it.
And I mean, last winter, these guys were driving out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
did.
But this would be for the guy who, like, if someone wants to, well, I'm gonna move to Waterville Valley for the summer.
Yeah.
Use someone's lot, live in the back of my trailer and sell burgers out the front.
Right,
Burgers every
exactly.
day,
And that could give us reason to.
That's site
Stop
plan
it.
review.
That's like, so if it's overnight, you go to site plan review. If it's day use,
Site
I mean,
plan review
most-
or exception by special permit. Because it might be the guy who's coming up every weekend. Or staying for a festival, like if we had say we had a
Right,
rainstorm.
so triathlon, they
It's
have a
a-
coffee
right, the
shop
triathlon.
here
Yeah.
that stayed for 2 nights, a coffee trailer.
There may be some,
Yeah, but
but I.
if we make it by overnight, then my special exemption granted by you guys, it gives you that leeway with a kind of common understanding that if someone's here for a weekend for a special event, they're fine, but if they're gonna leave it for, all week and things like that. it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
be
mostly, I remember, sorry.
Right.
Most of the food trucks, they drive out to
Yeah.
replenish
Mhm.
and come back in.
yeah, that's
So-
what I was
But
asking.
They're not-
so what this is doing is trying to restrict the person who wants to take a lot and turn it into a business.
Exactly,
Right. And we have a definition of a food truck.
right.
And I can,
Is there anything else we need to do to commit this discussion?
a fee, I think we asked.
Well, we have a fee that's associated with that, isn't there?
That was a
We
question.
don't have it established yet.
Okay.
And like I say, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. $25 a day, I don't think it's easy.
Except you got the guy selling ice cream. So what is ice cream?
He's gonna make more than the guy selling burgers,
Oh,
probably.
yeah, I've worked for miles on a weekend. I have a truck, yeah.
I mean, even the 20.
We do all our permits have some fee associated.
There's some.
And there has to be some penalties for, you know, not adhering to.
Well, we
Or
can-
$25 a month, you know, each month, I don't know.
Or you,
$50, $100 a month. Or
No, could be $10 a day or something.
I know, I think.
Yeah, how
Portland
about
does it for a
$10?
full year, you get a
$10 for
permit.
one time.
Yeah, covers your permit,
And $100.
And then you have
for a season.
unlimited,
unlimited.
Yeah, that's what,
So,
$10 a day, $60 for a season. I'll think about it.
I know camping does, it's
$20 a year.
Yeah, it is.
Something like that. $20 a year. It's good for a year, and
And you can reapply for different dates as much as you can want.
Within
Is there
that.
help?
One fee covers.
their health inspections are good for a year, so.
Yeah.
so do we need enabling language, or can we just do it?
I think we need to get set up a fee structure and put it together and vote on it. I don't think we can say something right
For the
now.
next meeting.
The next meeting?
Okay, you guys, you know, we have the language together to put together an interview.
Only a food truck definition.
We're only talking 2 weeks.
Yeah, you got 2 weeks. We should be
So
able
do
to
we
do
just
that.
turn the blind eye to what's going on?
Well, I think
For this coming Sunday? Well, no, I think you get them to do another permit. There just won't be a fee right now, and then after the fee is adopted, then they have to apply again.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't turn a blind eye to the fact that they told us they'd be out here. I don't know, this one permit says May. This one permit I saw says May. And they're obviously gone beyond May. It says January 2021 to May 2021.
And just for the record, both of those food trucks, or all of the food trucks that have been kind of been northern cooperative with us. It's not like
No.
we're.
Well, we just have
Why
to
don't
have
you-
guidelines for the first week, when we probably know, how can I get people there?
Why don't we contact the ones that are being advertised, the 2 that are being advertised? Get them to fill out another one of the off-site solicitation permits and do it through the end of June. And that'll give the board a chance to adopt the new
On the 23rd.
and tell them there'll be new requirements by the end.
All right, so if we haven't had enough of that, then on to short-term rentals.
This is an easy one.
Well, we made the changes that were requested.
I just had a couple minor American. No, let me get to that quick. And, oh, I'm in the wrong document. Easy way. I got it, yeah. Do we want to, this, I just throw this out. We ask them, please check, this is type of project, under 1 property use change and zoning permit application.
Yeah.
Do we want to number the various, and then have them maybe circle the number? I mean, please check that all apply. That's not a big point.
No, we can do that.
I just
1,
looking for
2,
ease
3,
of-
4, and then they circle
The
1.
number, whatever number,
Please,
Get rid of check and put circle, all
Yeah.
that apply.
maybe a little, and do we want to highlight and maybe capitalize to save some trouble, for more than 30 days? The second from the bottom, but,
Yeah, that
breaking
would be
up
good to put that all in caps.
oh, yeah.
bold it for more than 30 days each year, or just,
And I trip over this every time I read it. Home occupation. What we're really talking about there is a home business, correct? working from home.
Yes, but they're enumerated, I mean, they're specified what they are.
I like Margaret's comment. I think you write home business and it gives you.
But it's called occupation in the
Zoning.
zoning,
Okay, but it's,
Occupation/business.
just so that's.
So
because every time I read that, I go, why?
Like you said, if someone goes,
Right.
oh, what is this? They
Yeah,
don't
right
know
there.
the definition of the zoning. And they
Yeah,
think
they're
they're
right.
So-
Occupying the house,
Home
right.
occupation slash business.
Yeah.
good call, folks.
Otherwise, I'm fine. We've done lots of review. If things are not working correctly, please let us know and we'll change it again.
Till we perfect it.
Okay.
So, yeah, and what's our timeline now? Did we push it back to September? Have we announced that, or did we keep it at July? I know
We
one-
kept it at July.
When's the
but I
next
think
water
we
bill
should-
go up?
The next water bill will go out in July.
Why don't we make it September, based on announcing the water bill? That makes sense?
I think we got it in 30 days. Yeah, yeah, I bet it does.
Yeah, right.
You can say what year, right?
Okay, we can make it start in July if you really want
That's
to.
fine too.
2025. Oh, geez.
All right, so effective September 1, water bill.
I don't see it on the agenda, but the quick claim deed,
I had just included that on your correspondence more than
Oh,
anything
okay.
else, because you don't have to sign it or accept it. Thank you, guys.
it's just to let us
It's
know it's
to let
coming.
us know, and I
Like
was
we're
more
actually
for-
gonna do it right this time.
Well, I wanted Mike to look at the language to make sure on that we
I'm not a
weren't.
lawyer.
Well, I know you're not a lawyer, but you deal with this. And if there were any major red flags, it was prepared by a lawyer. I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a warranty deed, this is too much on your own.
That's
about the property. If parcel book and page, fine. Nothing running with a deed that says it has to be remain conservation land, but it's unbuildable anyway.
Right.
It's fine.
So I'll have Bob sign that.
Anything else on correspondence?
I had one thing, just to quickly
Board
go.
concerns and directives?
Yeah, thank you.
Before.
Just on our facts, frequently asked questions. It's occurring to me, do we want to mention this new food truck as part of that? Because we say, do you need, here's one talks about a site plan application forward.
Except this is for property owners, this is not
Right.
for anyone coming from out of the area. You're talking about the thing we're gonna do.
When we talk about site plan review, because we are going to require a site plan review if the length of time.
Right, but the issue is, are you talking about the thing that's gonna go to the townspeople to see about if, the short-term rental?
No, I shifted to food trucks.
Okay, but I'm questioning it.
Okay,
With food trucks, I don't think if we want to include that in the changes that we're gonna put, the thing that Tara created that we just reviewed and accepted and made changes to.
right.
I don't think food trucks are appropriate today, because that's someone coming from the area who doesn't have a piece of property. This is for people who own property or changing the use of property.
Right. Well, that's what I thought, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. It says, Town of Water Valley, New Hampshire, business use and site plan review, frequently asked questions. My business is replacing another one. Do I need a site plan approval for change of use? I'm starting a new business or making changes to an existing. I need to apply site from
The
the
question
plan.
I have on that, that appears to go to the property owner, not to the
Yeah,
business of it.
right.
If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
No, I'm just trying to put.
I'm trying to process it
I
too.
think we handled that through the enforcement mechanism so that we can't identify every single
Right.
business situation that would
Fine.
require this. So I would rather handle that on a
Right, because
case-by-case basis.
I don't want the phone calls when the letter comes out. What do you mean they're gonna put a food truck, they can put a food truck in next door to me?
Yeah, no, that's not what we're
Yeah,
talking
no,
about.
no, I know what I'm.
Well,
So that's why-
without a site plan,
If they're only there for one day, yes, they can.
yes, they
Right.
can.
With a
That
permit.
that would be like someone having a catering barbecue truck for a party, or a tartaglia truck for their party.
Exactly.
Right.
Or the lovely Chesley is going to.
My car's not going
We're having fine food at the Blues Festival from your.
Yes, yeah, that was a few years back, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not enough boys around here.
Oh, I'll tell you something scary. I went to Dunkin' Donuts today. They have a sign that says lobby is closed, only for if you do it on your phone and pick it up and you prepaid for it, they'll be waiting for you. And I said, I didn't understand the sign, and I asked the kid, what is it? We didn't have any help.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't do both the drive-through and the tablet.
And this is on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
This is not like on a Saturday morning.
Right.
And we're not even in full season, so it's gonna be interesting.
I heard on news, I don't know if it's true, that Taco Bell is offering 3-month paid vacation to get people to come home today.
I don't think I take a 3-month vacation to eat their food. That's it.
Like to serve it?
Yeah. No, it's insane. Like Sean's been telling me what kind of bonuses he's had to offer people. And restaurants are now, if you read the thing, they're offering shares of tips to the back of the house people.
Alrighty, so no more correspondence. Do we need to go into non-public?
Yeah, I guess we do.
We have at least one item to go into non-public. So it is 5:04. And we are, can I have a motion going non-public?
So moved.